The teachers say the school district is forcing them to lie as the students transition without the parents knowing. Meanwhile, trans activists say depending on the situation at home, this can be in the best interest for the student.
Told me that if I were to ever find out about a student's gender or pronoun preference, that I was to withhold that from parents.
We ended up filing a lawsuit against the district on behalf of Jessica, raised First Amendment concerns, raised Title VII concerns, and we've been in nearly a year-long legal battle with the district, fighting out these issues. And we actually just reached a settlement with the district paying out $360,000 to Jessica.
This is Jessica Tapia, and back in 2021, she was a PE teacher for the Jurupa Unified School District, where she received several positive performance evaluations during her tenure and was described as an asset to the PE department and to the students she teaches. Yet, near the end of 2022, Ms. Tapia began to receive what she called disturbing messages and comments on her personal Instagram from people claiming to be students of her high school. The next day, she'd be put on administrative leave as a result of an internal investigation due to Mrs. Tapia's public comments about how her faith conflicts with the current social climate with respect to marriage, sexual orientation, and the like. The district attempted to remedy her wayward behavior by having her refer to students by their preferred gender pronouns and refraining from any discussions concerning her religious beliefs or the Bible. This was in addition to the fact that Ms. Tapia had to allow transgender students to use the bathroom that matched their preferred sex. And to top things off, Ms. Tapia was instructed to keep information about students' transgender preferences from their own parents. And as you can imagine, this didn't sit well with her at all. She went to her union in order to find some way to reconcile her personal beliefs and the requirements for her role within the school and asked that the district allow her religious accommodations so that she could continue working with a clear conscience. The school district decided against allowing Ms. Tapia her accommodations and released her from employment on January 30th, 2023. As a result, she has named the superintendents Trenton Hansen and Daniel Brooks, along with the entire JUSD Unified School District, in the subsequent lawsuit. But Jessica isn't the only person in the school district who had an issue with deceiving parents.
They told me that if I were to ever find out about a student's gender or pronoun preference, that I was to withhold that from parents.
A former Jurupa Valley High School teacher speaking out after she says she was fired for not hiding students' gender transitions from parents. Welcome back. I'm Mark Brown.
I'm Giovanna Latta. You're watching Eyewitness News at 5, live on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. The teacher was fired for refusing to follow a state law that forbids teachers from talking to parents about their child's gender choices without consent from the student.
But as Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda explains, a local state lawmaker now introducing new legislation that would allow teachers to do so.
Jessica Tapia was fired as a teacher from Jurupa Valley High School for refusing to hide students' gender preferences from parents.
And I said, "Are you asking me to lie to parents?" And they said, "Yes."
AB 1266 passed in 2014. Schools can't tell parents about their children's gender identity without first asking the student. Assemblyman Billy Saley is introducing legislation saying he wants to protect parental rights so parents know what is going on with their children.
Concealing information from parents is not only wrong, it's dangerous and harmful to the emotional and physical safety of trans minors.
Tapia says parents need to be involved during this time.
We are talking about minors. Their brain is not fully developed. The decision-making portal in that brain it's not fully developed, and they need their parents at this time for everything they're going through, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, you name it.
The Jurupa Unified School District sent a statement saying, in part, all students and staff enjoy the right to privacy under the constitutions of the United States and California. While individuals may elect to disclose their personal information to the public, the district is prohibited from doing so. The district's actions related to Ms. Tapia were based on its obligations under current state and federal law, which protects student privacy and requires the district to provide a discrimination-free learning environment to students.
The law will reset the appropriate relationship between educators and parents and reaffirm that children are the domain of their parents. not the government.
Other news tonight, the state's Department of Education says the Rockland Unified School District is in violation of the state's education code. Back in September, the district's board passed a parental gender not notification policy. Our Jeannie Nguyen joins us in studio with the latest information. Jeannie?
Alex, the California Department of Education just notified the district through an investigation report. That report showed the district's policy was in violation of the non-discrimination provisions within the education code. Now, back in September, the school board passed a policy that would require teachers to notify parents when a student asks to identify as a different gender. Dozens of parents, teachers, and students showed up to the board meeting to voice their concerns about the policy, stating it would harm students and put them in a position of being outed before they're ready. Regardless of these comments, the board passed the policy anyway. Now, this report was sent to the district by the Department of Education. In the state's finding, it says, quote, the district's policy singles out and is directed exclusively towards one group of students based on that group's legally protected characteristics of identifying with or expressing a gender other than identified at birth. One parent today told me he is not surprised.
They're willing to take this up with California. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them file an appeal. But that doesn't make it right.
Federal judge today ordered 2 Escondido middle school teachers back into the classroom.
They've been on leave for 8 months as they sue the district over its gender identity privacy policy. Harmisha DeBono is in downtown San Diego with more on today's ruling.
The 2 teachers sued the Escondido Unified School District over religious violations, saying that a district policy about students' gender identity privacy forced them to lie. A judge agreed with them and in September ordered them back to school. Well, that never happened. So now they say they were forced to ask the judge to hold the district in contempt, something that courts almost never do. This judge did not either, but he did say that they had to go back to school immediately.
I am shocked. I'm still processing this. I cannot believe it.
Lori West has been on paid administrative leave from her job as a teacher at Rincon Middle School in Escondido for 8 months after she and another teacher, Elizabeth Mirabelli, sued the district over violations of their religious beliefs, challenging a policy about students' gender identity privacy.
They learned about this policy that was being enforced, which would require them to hide material information about their students from their parents, and in many cases to lie to the parents.
A federal judge hearing the case granted a preliminary injunction in September, determining the policy likely violates the U.S. Constitution. That should have meant the 2 teachers would be back to work as soon as possible, but that didn't happen. Paul Jonah is representing the women on behalf of the Thomas More Society.
So when the case was first filed, there was some retaliation, harassment directed at our clients. The investigation was supposed to be concluded in 30 days, it ended up taking over 5 months. And after the injunction was issued, they told us the investigation's cleared, and then conveniently the very next day or a couple days later, they said, by the way, there was a new complaint made against Lori and we're not going to be able to bring her back. She's going to be placed on leave again.
After months of back and forth with attorneys for the Escondido Unified School District, Jonah says he was forced to file a motion for contempt.
Courts are typically very reluctant to hold parties in contempt. It's a pretty serious remedy. What he did, though, was he ordered them to comply with the order by bringing them back to work. I view it kind of as a warning.
Elizabeth Mirabelli was not in court due to health reasons. Meantime, Lori says she's excited to get back to work and harbors no ill will.
Maybe they thought they were doing right. They think they're protecting kids. And I think I'm protecting kids. We have a different point of view, and that's okay.
I think in any other scenario, if you were to ask people, do you think a school district should keep information about a child from their parents? The vast majority of people would say no. At what point does a school district become the arbiter of what you should know about your own child? The answer here is obvious, but somehow measures like this are supposed to help protect kids, purportedly. The idea behind this scenario is that there's a young adolescent and they can accurately gauge how their parents will take the news of them wanting to transition. So the school mandates that the teachers are to just play along, but also not report to the parents that are deemed unable to accept this new reality. I can tell you from personal experience that adolescents are not very skilled in being able to gauge what their parents can and will accept. A friend of mine came to me and he had learned that his daughter was LGBTQ, and this information came years after because his child didn't think that he was able to accept it. Now, this particular person is very accepting of anyone from any walk of life and has never disparaged anyone as long as I've known him. But rather than helping his kid feel accepted in a difficult time, this information was kept from him due to the presumptions being made. Look, I think people should be free to be whoever they want. It's America. But I also think that there are better solutions out there, such as providing group counseling for parents and students or workshops where people can voice their concerns. This trend of simply labeling and othering people who disagree isn't effective if you want people to understand your position. So let me ask you what you think here. Should other school districts adopt this measure because they claim to want to help kids? Or should schools respect the right for parents to know anything and everything about their own child? I'm the Commentary King, and I'll see you around.